Yo, yo, yo. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the SBP. I hope everyone is well. We got a beautiful Sunday it is here out in Richmond, VA. It's nice and sunny out there. And I don't know, I might have to get out there in it. But before we do that, we're going to talk some football this morning. As always, I'm your boy Prime Source. What is good?
Prime, you going outside today, bro?
I said it. We already been out there. I got the grands over here, so they didn't managed to get me into McDonald's this morning. McDonald's
Man,
breakfast. See what I'm saying? So I already been out there, and it's quite nice. So we'll see what the day holds. We'll see what the
word.
day. I'm telling you that now, and the closest I might get to outside is I left something in the car.
Yeah,
Ain't
that
no
sound,
telling with me, but it's nice out there, bro.
that sound more like it, Prime, because it seems like it's hot out there, John. I know it was nice a little while ago, though.
Yeah. They got a popping off here. They got the I don't know if I want to mess with it or not. They got a collector-con type joint going on down at the convention center today.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so we shall see. But it's some good it's some WNBA and stuff on the day too. So I don't know. I don't know. Don't know
Word.
what I'm gonna do, man. I really don't.
Yeah, it's going to be 89. Hey, it's going to be 98 Wednesday.
Woo! Well, I guess that's what we get for having this such a fabulous week of weather down here, right? Is we gonna smack you with something.
Yeah, that's craziness. They can have that, John.
No doubt, man. But look, man, we are just days. We're in the days phase pretty much of kicking off the NFL season. I think most teams will be wrapping up the preseason, the third preseason games today, if I'm not mistaken. I do know it's a couple things going on. So before you know it, we be going live with this thing. So are you excited?
Live like a wire. It's crazy. I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
I'm ready, but I'm not ready. But I'm ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine that also I'll be a little more hyped. We have the first SBP draft tonight. Rename one of the leagues, so you're gonna like this one.
Uh-oh.
It's called Stakes is High.
I like it.
Yeah, and you know what? And I'm so hyped. I'm gonna be bumping that joint back to back while I'm drafting my team. So back to
That's
back to back. I'm gonna have that joint on repeat. But stakes is high. And we got some good peoples. One or two newcomers in the SBP. But other than that, my man, we have some folks that have not just never played with us. So it's gonna
Oh,
be
yeah?
fun.
But
Yeah,
you
we
got
got
all
one or
you
two
got.
people that's never played. So
That's
that
what's
I
up.
slid into the mix. And then of course the big boy league, the Godfather League, will draft next week. So we'll see how things go, man. We'll see how things go. But I'm hyped for the night, man.
Yeah, my daughter was telling me
So
she has a draft. They dragged her into playing fantasy this year. Well, it's her first. She just started it, but they have a fantasy league
what?
in the office, so she's gonna be part of that. So I might have to chime in a little
All
bit.
right, good luck to her. That's what
I
I'm
don't know how
talking
much I
about.
can help. If it ain't FanDuel, I don't know about how much I can help.
So I don't know. I don't know. Internet acting kind of crazy over here, but anyway, hope we'll get through it. Um,
Yeah, hey, yep.
yeah, but anyway, can you hear me? Yeah. Hopefully we get some things popping off of this internet in there. But yeah, so man, look, we're gonna talk some football today, man. We're gonna get into it, and I'm sure we're gonna get really into it next week. But I figure we talk about some things going on around the league, and then we talk about some quarterbacks as well. You feel me? While we in the mix. So, but I do want to go across some news, man. That's popped around the NFL. So, of course, one of them I'm not liking. I'm not liking at all.
I know
My
that's
man
right.
Deron Bland from Dallas Cowboys gets hurt yesterday. So the Cowboys were looking to have one of the best cornerback tandems in the league this year. And now Deron Bland is out from 6 to 8. So this man is not even going to be on the field when we open up against the Cleveland Browns. But just this terrible news. I mean, I know it's not terrible for none of y'all out there, but it's just terrible for me. I need something to hang my hat on because I don't have a whole lot of expectations from this squad, man. So dang.
Really?
Yeah, I don't. We're gonna get deep into that next week. But yeah, I ain't got a big expectations for my Dallas Cowboys. This don't help a daggone thing. We
Yeah, you right about
don't
that.
have a don't have a superstar wide receiver in camp, and now I'm losing one of the better corners in the league. It's terrible, man.
Man, not being in camp this
It's
late is
terrible.
wow.
But hey, man, you got me thinking. All the other NFC East fans, or just the other NFC fans in general, probably playing Crimea River. I can hear Justin Timberlake in my head right now, and they don't give a damn.
Yeah, ain't too many people gonna show you no love on that prime. They be like, oh well, you be all right.
It is what it is, man. But yeah, that's been pretty much the biggest news, man, so far. Well, the latest news. Biggest news, of course, like I said, we just mentioned CeeDee Lamb. We talked about that situation. Um, what else is going on in NFL news wise? I don't think nobody got arrested last week, did it?
There's always that. That's a positive, I guess. People got hurt though, a couple of injuries, and then Washington tried to injure themselves. I guess I don't know what they was trying to do. Seemed like it might have been. I don't know what it might have been. I'm going with personality conflicts because the Washington Commanders decided to unload, I guess, uh, unload their wide receiver roster. Not only getting rid of Jahan Dotson, but sending that man within the conference, within the division, I should say. It's real. I mean, Jahan Dotson to Philly, like I think that's a pretty nice pickup there. What you think, Brian? What you think? Any thoughts?
My receiver in camp, so I care about any other receivers. That's my thought. Now, Jahan Dotson, I reading some of the sites that I go through weekly, and then watching some of the things I watch on television. I was looking at a lot of the Washington Commander fans before this actually went down.
Mm-hmm.
And there were some questions about Jahan Dotson being with the team. And he's got a nice little fan base. Nice little fan base. Most of them are pretty positive, saying, we got to make this happen. We got to make sure he's here. We got to make sure we think he could thrive in this offense. And I saw some other things that people thought about, that he could have been a trade piece, concluded in a trade piece if they were going to end up with Ayuk trade piece and maybe some picks and some other things. And that didn't materialize as far as the Ayuk situation, right?
Right.
But I did see, whereas there was supposedly some talks of the Niners wanted to include Terry McLaurin in any possible moves for Ayuk, and Washington wasn't willing to move him. So it looks like Washington was hoping, well, maybe we can get Ayuk and pair him with McLaurin, you know what I'm saying, to give young Jaden Daniels, who we're going to talk about, a little bit later, some added weapons, but that hasn't hurt. But for you guys, though, so what does that set y'all? So you got, of course, you got Smith, you got Brown. So I don't know, will he be the third receiver, you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
Third receiver.
Brown Smith. I told you, my mom was in a singing group at church called Brown, Smith, and Jones. I think I told you that. Brown, Smith, and Jones. So if his name was Jahan Jones, that would have been crazy. But it's not. We'll take it, though. Dotson in the slot, Goddard, and then you got Saquon in the backfield with Jalen Hurts. As long as that offensive line holds up, man, like that's pretty tough. I must admit that's pretty tough.
Man, I don't know how y'all be coming up with all these players, man, these combinations. Man, that front office is crazy.
And how we be out here working, bro. How we be working.
Now I hear another tune in my head. Remember Malcolm in the Middle? Life is unfair. Yeah, that's what I'm hearing right now. It just Philly just get everybody. Saquon, I mean, they just get what they want. You know what I'm saying? So if y'all ended up with Ayuk some kind of way, I don't know how the money would have worked. It wouldn't surprise me. Y'all just get what you want.
I was looking for it, but can't have everybody.
I know that's right. Good pickup for you guys, though. But quarterbacks, man, quarterbacks. Let's talk about some of these quarterbacks as we get into it. And one of the first quarterbacks that's been heavy on my mind this entire offseason, man, has been Josh Allen. Josh Allen, looking at reading some of the a lot of the publications and looking online, there's a lot of people that expect Josh Allen to crumble this year. To build on what was his career high 18 interceptions last year,
Right.
because of the fact that that receiving core stand out just a little bit more, and most notably Stephon Diggs is gone. They're expecting the team to deteriorate because of the amount of people they lost defensively, which will probably, they lost some key players, Tre'Davious White, Jordan Poyer, Siran Neal. He lost a ton of players, meaning that, Josh, who sometimes tries to do too much, is going to really try to do too much now. And when he's with that thinned out receiving core, some people don't have great expectations for him. What you think?
And you're going to see less, I don't know how to say it correctly in this moment, less opportunity for those mistakes, those big play opportunities that turn into mistakes. It's less opportunity for those to happen and go badly and let the defense bail them out. Or the defense get a stop and make it not look bad. It turns out to be okay. I don't know. He might have to change his approach a little bit to slinging the rock and taking those chances. That's just what it's going to be probably.
It's definitely even bigger weight on his shoulders. You're coming in now with your most notable receiver. The receiver with the most expectations on him is going to be the tight end. Dalton Kincaid is going to be the guy there. We saw what he was about last year. We saw that he can actually be the real deal. He can play. And if you're talking about some type of security blanket that may keep, Josh from going out here and trying to do too much, Dalton Kincaid can get open.
Right.
So I think you rely on him. But then you go to a young Keon Coleman. And then you go to another guy, Khalil Shakur, who actually showed some flashes last year, but it's just not the names that you thought would be at the top of your starting roster. So he's almost building, from scratch, if you want to put it that way, as far as a starting offense. I think what's going to help him this year too is that they, if James Cook can continue to do what he built on last year, and they got to get him in the end zone a little bit more. But as far as to continue to use him in the offense, especially on some of the dump offs, as well as some wheel routes and things of that nature, it's going to help Josh Allen. But it is widely thought around the league that this could be, we're talking 18 interceptions last year. I don't know if somebody was a writer, I think it was for Sports Illustrated or one of the publications, so they would not be surprised if Josh throws 20.
Dang.
20 interceptions.
Wait, how many games we got this year? 17?
17.
Okay, just making sure we ain't bump up to 18 yet.
Not yet.
Dang, they put that man on a 20-pick watch.
That's crazy. That's crazy. What would be the biggest thing, Source, though, for Josh Allen, man? If Josh Allen, I'm not talking crazy because we know how people judge him as far as not being able to take his team to the Super Bowl.
Right.
And then and when they were somewhat loaded, now he's working with less chips. To me, if Josh Allen just needs to get to, if he can take this team to the AFC Championship, and of course not getting the championship and don't throw 4 or 5 interceptions, but with this team right here, if he can get this team to the AFC Championship with these pieces, I think it's a win. I still think we would have to look at him a lot differently than a lot of people that criticize him, the way they look at him now. This team.
For us, I can agree with that. For the average fan, I think if they lose, whenever they lose, it's going to be Josh Allen's fault. It doesn't matter what happens. For some people, that's just the way it's going to be. including Ray. Ray said it right there. Josh Allen's overrated. I'm not sure what he has to do to be not considered overrated in the eyes of people who think he's overrated. I don't know what else he would have to do. A mediocre to decent season is a terrible season in some people's eyes. So
some people just bent on winning the ring. It's just what it is. It's just winning the ring. Everybody's expectations is different. Everybody's criteria is different. So some people it's just winning the ring, and you're absolutely correct. There are going to be some people who are not going to take into account what he's working with this season. You see what I'm saying? It's just he has to get there and get it done. I don't know how fair that is. And that's just my opinion.
It's not.
I don't know how fair that is. If the end all be all is just winning the ring, of course that's what we play for. You play the game to win a championship. You play the game to hoist the Lombardi Trophy. But to me, it's not the end all be all. Again, you can't be that quarterback that has great success in certain parts of the season, the regular season, something that I know all too well, and then get in the playoffs and stink it up. Okay, there's some validation there if that's your criteria.
Don't be.
But if you play well during the regular season and you play well during the playoffs, and you didn't stink it up in the playoffs, right? Then I don't know how fair some of the criticism really is.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to ask you because you said you play to win the game, you play to win the Super Bowl. Do you think it's more unfair to expect a quarterback that's good to win a Super Bowl, or to expect an NBA All-Star to win a championship? Which one is more unfair? To me, both of them are unfair, generally speaking. Because, well, I'll wait for you. I'll let you go ahead.
No, I agree. I think both are unfair. If you're gonna make me pick one, then I would say the NBA. I think the NBA. And we've seen it in NFL before. We've seen quarterbacks be all that and be one of the best in the league,
right?
And not able to get over the hump. We see that, and we see that. But in the NBA, you got one player, and I don't care, what your name is. You can't expect every player that's drafted number 1 or number 2 or number 3 to 100% be able to get that team to an NBA championship if the other pieces aren't right. And I know you can say that with the NFL as well. I understand that you can say that with the NFL as well. But I think it's just a lot more that would have to go right in the NBA than it would in the NFL.
I probably lean more towards it being the quarterback. At least in the NBA, you're one of 12. So you're 8% of the team, all rip. And you play both sides of the ball. And it's only 5 people on the court. Mm-hmm. So you can have a bigger effect on the game, offensively and defensively, in the NBA. In the NFL, even though the quarterback is the man and has the ball in his hands every play, pretty much on offense, he don't play defense. So he could do all the best things in the world and still not win a championship. I just think the expectation sometimes is kind of crazy on quarterbacks. And people say, well, they get all the love, so they get all the... It don't have to be that way. That's just the way people make it. You can get all the love without getting all the criticism if people stop and look at the situation. That's all you got to do is stop and look at the situation. Like, you can't... Nobody... I mean, I don't hear people down Dan Marino or Dan Fouts in the grand scheme because they didn't win a Super Bowl, even though it would be better if they did. But they're like, oh, but they ain't have no defense. They ain't got no defense. Well, it happens, I guess. Yeah,
and I like to use my guy for many years as a kid, John Elway, kind of in the same boat. His a little bit different. He eventually won Super Bowls, but the narrative was with him was we didn't win them until Terrell Davis came. Right? But I remember with John Elway, those teams that were getting to the Super Bowl. Forget the flashy names and people talk about the Orange Crush. I didn't say that they weren't good. Right. They had a notable player or two defensively. But when you go to the offensive side of the ball, you ask the average person to name that receiving core, they can't name that receiving core. Most of them are going to struggle to name just one. They can't name a Vance Johnson or a Mark Jackson. They can't name the running backs. You know what I'm saying? They can't name the running backs. We're talking about a quarterback in John Elway that was going to the Super Bowl, with Sammy Winders and Steve Sewell, who was really a fullback, but they put him back, Bobby Humphrey. Like, you might remember Bobby Humphrey from college, but you don't remember much about Bobby Humphrey in the pro. Let's just keep it 100.
Yeah.
Right. So when we're talking about what's fair and what's unfair and what can be controlled and what can be controlled, Elway was able to lead this team to the Super Bowl, which was a feat in itself. They just ran against some juggernauts on the NFC. But, as far as just making it fair for a quarterback and how we judge them, that's kind of shaky. I mean,
yeah, I agree.
So when you asking what everybody's criteria is, so
fair enough.
But yeah, so Josh Allen is definitely going to be one of the quarterbacks that's going to be on watch. Of course, if you play in fantasy football, you're going to get him regardless. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because, this is man going to get it done in the air, when he's not throwing the picks, and definitely get it done with his legs. But I think he is going to be undoubtedly the most watched and most scrutinized quarterback here coming up in 2024.
Yeah, picks ain't that negative in fantasy football. Picks ain't negative enough for you not to take somebody like that.
Yeah. I mean, you're gonna drop what you lose with 2 points for the pick, but that's it. You can want to make it up in it. We see Josh Allen type of cat to throw 2 picks and still score 5 touchdowns total in the game. So I mean,
and run
how
3
much is that really gonna hurt you? But yeah, I just think if Josh can find a way. If he can find a way to at least get them to the AFC Championship, I think that would be a huge win for him and Sean McDermott. Something else is interesting. The talk that's really starting to brew, and it's about 2 quarterbacks, man, that both are rookies this year. One, of course, was a number 1 pick. The other one was also taken in the first round. We're going to talk about these 2 guys right here, some expectations. We got Jaden Daniels, and of course, we got Caleb Williams. Right. To me, in the limited time that we've seen them, I don't know how much you've seen, but I like what I've seen from both quarterbacks in the preseason. I think coming into just their last game, limited action. I think Jaden someone like 12 or 15. Throwing the football, hasn't gotten the end zone yet. I don't believe. I didn't see him get in the end zone, but I seen him. Or did he get in the end zone once? But anyway, he looked pretty good from what I say. His awareness is there. I like the way he moved around in the pocket. I was watching the first preseason game he was in. It looked like he could feel the rush coming on his back. When to move. And I hate to say it, but I think the Washington Commanders might have a winner here, bro.
He said, I hate to say it.
I hate to say it.
I hear that. I don't watch preseason. I avoid it at all costs.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the Eagles lost 26-3 yesterday. Don't care at all.
Preseason.
At all. So I avoid it at all costs. I have heard that Daniels was playing well, and I saw a couple of clips of Caleb slinging the rock, on the gangster lean and down the field. But I think this is a rough year for young quarterbacks to be making their debuts. And I blame CJ Stroud, because these people going like the expectation is going to be OD for a lot of people, because they saw what Stroud was able to do last year. So now they like, if he could do it, and he had no name. People gonna say no name receivers. You ain't know them receivers So these guys should be able to do the same thing. And if they don't, you know, some fans will jump off the proverbial bandwagon quicker instead of just giving the guys a little time to adjust to the speed of the game for real and to adjust to being the man in the NFL. And that's a whole lot of pressure there.
Yeah, you definitely right. CJ Stroud spoiled it for a lot of these guys, so they're gonna have to come out here and perform. It's gonna be interesting to see that offense and Jaden Daniels in that offense. They brought over Cliff Kingsbury. So if there's anybody who knows about the dynamics, you know what I'm saying? Cliff knows. He knows about the dynamics and how to work with quarterbacks, whether he's worked in a small space or a large space. He knows how to work with quarterbacks that have mobility, And they've got some pieces there to actually work with. Of course, like I said, there's one less with Dotson not being there, but you still got McLaurin. You got a plethora of running backs. You got guys that can help get him out of trouble. Austin Eckler. A lot of people forget he's over there. I saw some pretty positive things in the few, the little bit I have seen of him. And I just think that an offense, whether it clicks right away is one thing, but I think that offense with him in it is going to be something both you and I are going to definitely have to watch, because this is a guy who does not have to sit in the pocket to be effective.
Mm-hmm. We're going to see these guys 2 times a piece, right?
Indeed.
We're going to see Daniels 2 times a piece.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so what about Caleb Williams, though? A lot of expectations for this young man right here. And, he got through the fact of folks talking about they didn't know if he was the number 1 pick. But so far in this small windows he's had in the preseason, he's looked good. And I've seen some things that kind of add to what people are saying about him being Mahomes-like. We heard that in college. And people are like, there we go. How you throwing this guy in the mix and they lose a couple of games? But when we're talking about Mahomes-like, some of the plays that he's made to scramble and get out of the pocket, and I watched one play when he was able to, when he scrambled, got out and ran in for a touchdown, and there was another one, they might have been like 3rd and 12 or something like that, and he managed to get away from two defenders, complete a pass over the middle. I think we talk about the stakes is high. He's going to have time, but I think he's going to be really good. I do. I think he's going to be really good.
Is he going to be good out the gate?
That's what's going to be interesting. How quick does he adjust to these NFL defenses? How good is he identifying the Mike linebacker? How good is he adjusting to these veteran wide receivers that he has? Because he's got a group, man. He's got a group, man. We were sitting there talking about, with Rome Odunze coming in with them, and they said they've been clicking in practice. DJ Moore, we know what he's about. Any given week, he can break you down. And, of course, you bringing over Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
So and then don't forget, I'm going to always include the tight end if he there. If he there, he there. Cole Kmet is legit. So they're giving him all the right pieces. So my thought is, if he's not that guy, if he's not good this season, it says more about the coach than it's going to say about the actual quarterback, because they're giving this dude the pieces. I think he's going to be good. I do.
That's going to be interesting to see. Yeah, I'm glad that he has a solid group to work with. Some people said, why they didn't do this for Justin Fields? But that's a different conversation for a different day, maybe next week. Or maybe later. I don't know. But I like the pieces in Chicago for Caleb, and it would be nice to see. I wish I had looked at their schedule. It would be nice to see him get off to a good start, because they're going to be on his neck one way or another. As soon as they see painted nails, I still don't think everybody's seen his nails, and I still think it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Oh, social media, baby. You already know.
I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. So I think that, not that it'll affect him because it's not new to him, but I just think that people, the NFL watchers, people that are all about the NFL and not even that much about college, are going, or not even big football fans, and they just see him as we go through the season, I think it's gonna become a thing at some point.
Yeah, pulling up the schedule, so it looks like, uh, whew. So they open up with the Tennessee Titans on the 8th. So their first Sunday, they open up with the Tennessee Titans, and then, oh my goodness, and we're gonna
That
get
sounds
this at nighttime too, bro. Their second game on September 15th is a 8:20 p.m. game against the Texans.
what?
Oh, that's gonna be wonderful, bro. That's gonna CJ Stroud and Caleb Williams. We get to see them in a night game, bro.
Wow. Yeah, I definitely should
Yeah,
look at
we
the schedule
too.
because that's nice right there. Out the gate too, second game. Goodness gracious.
Man,
Yeah,
thank you,
yeah.
NFL.
That comparison is gonna run throughout the season, especially after that. Don't let Caleb play well. That comparison is gonna go throughout the season, guaranteed.
You're talking about what's going to make it exciting for these for those two quarterbacks. One in his sophomore season, and one, of course, in his rookie season. Is they have seemingly have two of the most talented wide receiving cores now, right? And I was funny. I was in my first draft last week, our in-person auction draft,
Mm-hmm.
and what was funny was, sitting back and watching and anticipating who would take what receiver from those two teams. You know what I'm saying? That's a tricky thing if you're talking about fantasy football, because they all of them have the potential to play well. It's just who's going to get that ball thrown to them on on a particular Sunday. But these two receiving cores, I don't think there's a team in the league that has me more excited than these two teams do when it comes to the receiving cores and what the quarterback's going to be able to do with them. So the new Madden just came out. I ain't even gonna lie. I made sure both of these teams, I keep these two teams in the holster. You know what I'm saying? Because I know they have the offensive weapons to go out there and make the quarterbacks look good, and the quarterbacks to make them look good. So I'm very excited. But that right there off top, top 10 in the games to watch, this season.
Wow, that's tough. Can't wait for that one though. Well, actually, I can't wait because we got so much good stuff just starting out the season. That's after the excitement of week one, or the first Thursday and Friday of week one, and then get into a real full week of games or full Sunday of games. We're gonna be excited. We're gonna be hyped, and it could the excitement could fall a little bit, but then you got that in week two, and you're like, oh, hold on, we still up here. We still up here with it. So I am looking forward to it. Once we get started, man, the season goes so quickly sometimes. Like once we get to about week 5, I feel like we're looking at the playoffs and then the Super Bowl. Already? Yeah, we're like, how did we get to week 9? The season just started 2 days ago. Yeah, the season goes quickly.
Then here's another interesting one, a guy that you got to see firsthand, and then we didn't get to see much at all last year. Week 3, they play Anthony Richardson and the Colts, right? And I know that you're not as high on Anthony Richardson, and I'm sorry that we didn't get to see him because of that injury, last year. I think I kind of like Anthony Richardson. I think, of course, we're going to see how much not being involved with the team, due to injury is going to hurt him this year. How long it takes him to develop.
Right.
And I imagine the interceptions will probably be there, but his ability to extend plays and what he's going to be able to do with his legs, I think that Jonathan Taylor and that squad is going to welcome all that. I got them. I'm actually going to have them as a team to watch once he gets going.
Interesting. And like when I saw him, he was pretty new. It was what, week 2, week 3 of the preseason last year. So a lot of things could change between then and now. And I don't wish him any ill will. I hope he plays well. We just have to see how it goes.
Yeah.
I'm on a wait and see. Put me on the wait and see list.
Yeah. Would it surprise me if he plays well out the gate? It wouldn't. Would it surprise me if we're looking at the 3 weeks and he didn't throw 5 picks already? It wouldn't. But you're looking at a guy who had the tendency to, to make those turnovers before he ever got hurt. So we're talking about a guy that pretty much missed pretty much the whole season. So, but I think once they get going, if they can hang on to that point, I think the Colts could actually be right in that mix. Depending on how he plays, and of course, Jonathan Taylor sitting on the field.
Right.
But yeah, keeping up with the quarterbacks. Well, Caleb Williams though. So as I skim through this, of course, there's a matchup with the Rams, which should be a good game. Another interesting matchup. The week after that, though, against a team who was terrible last year, but had a rookie quarterback who people are questioning, why in the world is he not playing the preseason? Y'all acting like this dude is Mahomes or something. And that's Bryce Young and the Panthers. So we're going to get to see Caleb Williams on the opposite side of the field against Bryce Young. So and I know some people have to come on, it's the Panthers. But if you're talking about the quarterback matchup, yeah, I want to be around the TV that's got that on. That's just me.
It's a young quarterback matchup. Man, there's a lot of black quarterbacks.
They got Deontay Johnson too, so he's got a couple of Bryce Young in his second year is going to be interesting because of one, it is year two. He got Thielen back, but they went and got Deontay Johnson from the Steelers, who has a chance to finally make his mark with his name. So he's got some weapons. So. We're gonna see how he plays out. But I like that October 6th matchup, bro.
Yeah, that's gonna be all right. Man, I might have to think about this. It's a lot of black quarterbacks, bro. It's a lot of black quarterbacks.
And speaking of which, again, these two play each other October 27th. That's before Halloween.
I like these young quarterback matchups. That's crazy. This season gonna be all right.
Yeah, they take on Kyler Murray after that. Another matchup. Well, we don't know who the quarterback's gonna be because we're hearing that the guy that they drafted is not looking that good. And darn, I wish we had Juwan on maybe next week. They play the Patriots too, so Drake may be the quarterback when they play them. And of course, then he gets to play Jordan Love. Oh man, it's just some good stuff in here. It's gonna be some good stuff. Plays Jordan Love twice, of course, because they're in the same division. Right. But yeah, it's going to be good comparing our Caleb Williams to the quarterbacks of these, against the teams he's playing again on that particular Sunday or Thursday or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting one, and of course, you and I were together when this went down at the draft, but this thing right here in Atlanta is going to be wicked. You know what I'm saying? Because we have Kirk Cousins, who was totally thrown off guard by the drafting of one Michael Penix. And they were saying that there's people in the organization that is tight-lipped about some things. I don't know what it could be. And I'm like, I know Atlanta cannot be sitting here thinking about the possibility that Kirk is not their quarterback and the man just got $100 million guaranteed.
Can't be.
Can't be, bro. Can't be.
Not all that money they're throwing around. They just out here throwing dollars. But I mean, it is Atlanta, and Atlanta is known for throwing dollars. But that's usually a strip club.
Yes, they are. I've been in Atlanta throwing dollars.
Yeah.
But this is gonna be a crazy situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is a crazy situation though. What do you like? What do you think though, man? Could we be sitting here really looking at the possibility that we get halfway through the season, whatever's going right is going right, or whatever's not going right is going right, going wrong, or whatever, and Kirk Cousins is moved to another team? Could you see that happen? I know his last team might like to have him back right now.
He'd be like, guys, can we get a mea culpa or a duo for let's try this again. Yeah. the market will be there. There's always a market for a solid quarterback. There's always a market for a solid quarterback. And if Atlanta can have two, well, I mean,
Some people said you got two quarterbacks, you don't have one. I never understood that, but okay.
Actually, that's what I say. But that came from.
I'm greedy.
But if you had two quarterbacks, you don't have any quarterbacks because you can't trust two quarterbacks. I think it was in reference to Steve Spurrier, and when he used to have the two quarterback system and be quarterbacks. That means you don't trust neither one of them for real, because you got two of them out there semi equally. So if you got two of them,
why can't you just have two good quarterbacks?
Because it's always the wrong one in at the right time. Unless you win a national championship, but that's another conversation. Because
I truly believe, man, I don't know what's going to happen with Michael Penix, but you heard me state it before. And I'm a Kirk apologist. But Kirk in this offense is good for everybody. It's good for everybody. I can't believe a player like Judon decided, being the defensive terror that he is, decided that he was good with the Atlanta trade. I don't know if he makes this move if you don't have a quarterback that's good enough to play like Kirk Cousins. Because, we were seeing some things like Judon, when they were in talks about moving him, like the Raiders and a couple of other teams were actually in the mix. And he told them, no, I would take Atlanta. Right? I don't think he'd go in Atlanta if he knew he had a guy who could ball at quarterback. You know what I'm saying? If he know that. I think Kirk has something to do with that.
Yeah.
I mean, he can go to the Raiders, bro. You know what I'm saying? Who the Raiders quarterback? I mean, I know when they just named Gardner Minshew, but I'm just saying.
Dang, you just disrespect Gardner Minshew like that?
No, I ain't disrespect him. I hope not.
Wrong, bro.
I took Devontae Adams, cost me some money last week, so I need Gardner to get that man to rock. I'm just saying, I'm taking Kirk Cousins before I'm taking Gardner Minshew. Yeah.
Of course. Well, yeah, of course. You got the history to prove it. But here we are. here we are.
Man, don't y'all do Kirk like that, man. I'm excited what Kirk can do for Atlanta. I'm not saying that Michael Penix can't at some point, but I really think in that division that we talk about, that lowly division where you don't need to win many games to win the division, because in some years, in a lot of years, I think Kirk is the X factor. Dude, let me ask you a question. We talking about last year's winner, and we talking about Kirk. Would you rather have a quarterback, Baker Mayfield or Kirk Cousins?
Kirk Cousins. That's a terrible question to ask me, Brian. You already know.
I'm just saying, all feelings aside, bro. I'm just saying, you taking Baker Mayfield or Kirk Cousins? You taking Kirk?
I ain't taking Baker Mayfield nowhere. I'm not taking Baker Mayfield nowhere.
Nowhere. Okay.
Now let's see
Baker Mayfield and Trey Lance. They fair. I just say you said from nowhere. So Trey Lance went through 5 picks yesterday. He's trying to stay on the team through 5 interceptions yesterday. That's a whole other story. But interesting, man. This Atlanta thing is gonna be crazy, man. Atlanta, don't do Kirk like that. Kirk, it's some good things coming. Kirk could lead y'all to the division title. Trying to tell you.
And people
Kyle Pitts glad he's there.
Definitely.
Trust me.
Definitely.
I know Drake London's glad he's there.
Definitely.
I'm hearing that who was a quarterback last year? Boy from Cincy. What's his name? I can't think his name right now because that's how terrible he was. Anyway, he's over in Arizona, I believe, now, and there was talks about he might not even make the team.
Yeah. That's why they want him about it there. That's why they want him.
You go from being a starting quarterback to possibly not even making the team.
Trey Lance.
No, Trey was never in danger this quick of not being on a team.
See, you ain't got no job.
Trey might get cut today or tomorrow, but then he might not because he's Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones is the owner. And Jerry might be like, you know what? Yeah, we made a good investment. We only got a 4th round pick. And they can keep him around. But I think the new NFL rules now, you're allowed to have 3 quarterbacks. The rules, you can carry 3 quarterbacks in, I believe, even on game day. You don't have to put any type of exception in or whatever. They made it easier, so he just might be.
Remember the good old days of 3 quarterbacks not being an issue.
Yeah,
remember those good old days. Good times, man. Good times.
Yep. No doubt. Who else we got out there, man? Oh, of course. This situation right here down in Pittsburgh, bro. What is going on in Pittsburgh when they really can't name a starting quarterback? So they're saying that Russ is supposedly the starting quarterback, but every time we hear something from Mike Tomlin, he ain't really put his stamp on it. So I guess he wants you to think, Russ is the guy without him saying it, but he hasn't really put his stamp on it just yet, man. What do you think about this whole situation?
So the curl ain't actually curling. The curl ain't never curl over. Yeah. Scary hours. Scary hours for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Some people said it at the beginning, though. Some people were already on it like, well, I don't trust neither of them out the gate. I do remember that conversation, and they're bringing in Justin Fields, so they must not trust Russell Wilson. Except when we first saw Russell Wilson go to Pittsburgh, we were like, oh, okay, that's a good move. And I guess bringing in Justin Fields was just insurance. But imagine having 2 starters from last year that weren't necessarily, great together. It goes back to the statement that I said earlier that you brought up. If you got 2 quarterbacks, you got no quarterback.
As stagnant as this Steelers offense has been, though, these past few years, and if you look at them in the preseason, neither one has really dazzled anybody. The limited time that we played. Now, granted, the last game, they both were on the field. They led touchdown drives. Neither one of them was the reason they got in the end zone. But Pittsburgh need a spark, man. They need somebody. They're investing heavily in George Pickens. They really believe that George Pickens is a top 10 wide receiver.
Right.
And they're going to focus more of the offense on it. But is anybody going to be able to get him the ball?
Better take it back to 1987, run the end around.
Not the end around. Have you seen Sierra in a Steelers jersey yet? Have we seen that?
No, but what I did see is some guys talking about, does Pittsburgh go to Atlanta this year? I feel like Pittsburgh goes to Atlanta.
Yes, I'm pretty sure I saw that.
They were talking about what song would you play, what future song would you play while Russell Wilson is quarterbacking. I was like, dang, the disrespect is going to be loud and crazy.
I wonder if there's going to be odds on that. What's the
on the song?
Yeah, on the song. What's the odds? It's going to be odds on that. Let's try to find it. I did see that they do play him this year, though. They go to Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and they play. Where is it?
Early. Hope it's early.
Am I looking at the right schedule? Oh, yeah. It's week 1. They go to Mercedes-Benz Stadium on week 1.
Man, it's gonna be something. This is gonna be something.
Well, they get Sierra to perform over there, John. Her and Jazzy Faye. I mean, I don't know.
is automatic.
Automatic.
Supersonic. Nothing funky fresh.
They get her to perform at the joint.
Sierra.
Nah, but maybe if he was quarterback in Atlanta. But yeah, this is just a mess to me. And then we're looking at a whole nother situation with the Broncos eating most of that money. We're talking about Kirk. What's the likelihood of one of these quarterbacks not being there? Got a trade deadline.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely could see that more than I could see Kirk. I definitely could see one of these guys not being there. That's a good piece. That's a good piece to have.
Yeah, one of the destinations, of course, the first as of right now, because we haven't had any significant injuries yet, but you know how the season goes, is that it's going to be Minnesota. It's still going to be Minnesota. It's going to be Minnesota every time, especially if the Minnesota Vikings find a way to stay, in the playoff race.
Man, Justin Jefferson going to be over that joint. Bad.
Yeah, him and they can keep Addison out of jail. You know what I'm saying? They got Aaron Jones like they run the football a little bit. Speaking of which, are you surprised that Dalvin Cook ain't signed with anybody yet?
I was going to ask you about him when you talked about James Cook earlier. I was like, where's Dalvin Cook? Is he on the team right now?
Yeah, he's not signed with anybody. I saw the other day with Dalvin Cook, they said, of course, one of the teams to keep an eye on was the Dallas Cowboys because of the running back situation. Zeke's not what he was. Zeke's not Zeke. They don't anticipate Zeke being – they're not going to try to make him – he's the starting running back, but he's not the guy that's going to get 20, 25 carries a game. They like Rico Dowdle. And then there's some talk whether or not who's going to get that last running back spot. Deuce Vaughn did look okay, but they say that the Dallas Cowboys were a team to watch. But I'm going to tell you what else I saw, which is interesting. They said watch the Ravens. Watch the Ravens.
And in theory, all these ideas sound great, but seeing Dalvin the last couple of bounce arounds, it's like, is something wrong?
I don't think he's not the runner, of course, that he was.
Right.
And I don't know if it's just the fact of the miles on him, if he never recovered from the last injury that he had.
Yeah.
To be the same guy. I don't know. I definitely don't know. But and I imagine he's going to end up on somebody's team. You put him somewhere either where you have a starter go down, or you're just trying to, have another running back to go with your starter.
Right.
Somebody that can get 10, 8 to 15 carries in a game. So I do imagine that he will end up on somebody's squad. But you got to think the Ravens thing is interesting though, because I think they lost both running backs. They lost with Gus and J.K. Dobbins both gone. If I'm not mistaken, I believe they both for the Chargers.
Wait, who's in the backfield for Baltimore?
Well, you got big boy over there.
Now I'm acting like I paid attention recently.
Come on, the Titans, man, the Titans.
Oh yeah, of course. But Derrick
Henry.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got Derrick Henry.
So, but who?
Oh, and what's the name is still on the roster? I believe. What was the young boy they had that got hurt last year? Like Justice Hill, I think.
Yeah, Justice Hill. Okay, that's
Justice Hill.
That's the other person.
But this is the Ravens. We see them. You seeing Harbaugh come out there and 3-4 running backs on the roster. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but they usually not names that are recognizable.
Yeah, Gus Edwards gone. J.K. Dobbins gone. So it's never know. You just never know.
Oh, that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be fun. Week 1. Goodness gracious, this season.
Week 1. The whole week 1 slate looks. They picked a nice slate for the beginning of the season. So
this season gonna be nice.
CJ Stroud, you mentioned CJ Stroud. Big expectations on CJ again this year. Hope DeMeco Ryans continues to just let him be, just turn him loose, let him do what he does. Over 4,000 yards passing last year, 23 TDs, only threw 5 picks during the season. In a time where he had receivers going in and out of the lineup. Now you add a Stephon Diggs. So, we're thinking that, 30 touchdowns may not be out of the question. But then again, it might be, though, because they did bring in Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon will eat some of those as well. So, but I expect CJ Stroud's, season this year to be just as crazy as it was last year. Like, who you going to cover on that squad? Tank Dell looking good. Coming back.
Who you going to cover?
Yeah, that's crazy. Dalton Schultz back healthy.
Man, that's another loaded squad. So people talked about in the last couple of weeks, keep in mind, before the Texans got CJ, they were in every game. They just couldn't close games out. And that's fair. I mean, and saying they couldn't close games out. Oh, you're saying before they got CJ? Yeah,
before they got CJ.
Yeah. I got you. But now they can. Yeah, I guess that's the difference.
And that was Keys that put their comment actually when you initially mentioned them when we were back talking about it, and I think during the Jaden Daniels and all that conversation, but I just held to tell them.
Gotcha. Yeah. So his comment was related to Daniels.
Yeah, I know. Hey, Keys, if you own, shout out to you, man. I don't know if you saw it, man. Lil Keys, his son, touched the ball 2 times yesterday, had over 100 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns.
Word. Get loose,
they
Lil
were
Keys.
the brakes off people. They ain't play. He said his son ain't played the second half. But 2 touches, so 2 carries, over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Who he played for?
I think Blue Star. I think Cowboys.
Blue
he played
Star.
the Cowboys.
Okay.
With a Blue Star. Yeah,
them Cowboys.
No, that's killing.
Yeah, I'm sure. He probably like, I ain't wearing this shirt. I ain't wearing no Blue Star shirt. Y'all better give me a burgundy maroon star. We're gonna change the name of this place. Anyway, yeah. Shout out to Lil Keys.
I understand. I think back in the day, even when I was back coaching Little League, my oldest son was playing for Henning. That's the Redskins.
JG Henning.
They killed me. Look, he played two teams, and one of them wasn't as bad, and one that wasn't. So he played for Henning. He also played for Chocolate, which is the Steelers. So I'm like, come on, bro. But hey, that's just where his mama was living in that area. That's what it was. But
I can't even knock it because I played for Henning and in football and basketball. So, and we used to play, and even in high school at one point, basketball we used to practice at Chocolate when they got the new gym.
Hey, wow.
I'm sorry, that was when I played for Henning. At Henning, we practiced at Chocolate because there was no gym. Yeah.
No doubt. When how things work. But I think we both expect CJ Stroud to get out there and still get busy.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
He's going to definitely be.
I don't want to. They're going to do CJ and Jordan Love the same way. Well, I mean, Jordan's been around a little longer, but they were doing the same way. Have us having them expectations based on last season, and defenses are going to change. They're going to get different looks, and we want to see how they adjust in that second full season of quarterbacking in the NFL.
Yep. So he'll start the season, of course, against Anthony Richardson. And then, of course, as we talked about, the game we both hype about in week 2, he'll take on Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
In the bed. That's 8 p.m.
We'll have marquee matchups every week.
Woo. Let's see what else. Oh, October 6th. CJ Stroud versus Josh Allen. Nice. Then of course he also will see Richardson twice, of course, because of the division. And we will also see him take on Jordan Love. Oh, Halloween. He takes on Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, we got to see if Aaron Rodgers get there.
Aaron Rodgers, of course, the Battle of Texas. He'll take on Dak Prescott, Tua, Mahomes, and Lamar.
Marquee matchups every week. It's going down
every week. Matter of fact, he takes on Lamar on Christmas.
Wow.
It's a 4:30 game.
Man, so how many quarterbacks are there that we wouldn't say it's a marquee matchup? Just in the league at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna say Richardson, Minshew. All right, I'm not gonna start naming because I don't. But
we're going on for a minute.
Yeah, well, I don't know. What we going on for maybe?
Well, not for a minute, but it's definitely some more we could add to that list. Yeah, you could always be
Minnesota.
Will Levis.
Yes, Will Levis. Yes.
We can go. We can go Will Levis. So you mentioned Minnesota.
But
we
you
could
say
go
Kirk Cousins, Tua. I'm saying Tua that you wouldn't say it for. Kirk Cousins, Tua, Stafford. I'm thinking about.
Speaking of which, they play the Lions too.
Okay. Yeah, Goff. The young 10 quarterbacks there are, the best 5 quarterbacks there are. Like you throw Dak, Jalen. I feel like it's a lot of marquee matchups, or would be called marquee matchups when these quarterbacks meet up. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of them.
Man, they definitely made this Texans schedule exciting. They ain't doing any favors either, but wow. And they go to the Jets too on Halloween week. Whew. That is off the chain. Off the chain. So definitely checking out CJ Stroud.
No doubt.
What do you think? What you say?
I said you said Will Levis.
Yeah, Will Levis, man. I can't get that out of my head.
I can't get that. Daniel Jones. How do we not say Daniel Jones? Come on, man.
Yeah, man. Definitely. If next week, if Joel is on next week, whatever, I definitely want to see how you feel about his quarterback because that thing is ugly, bro. I haven't watched as much. I've watched more preseason than you, of course, but I haven't watched. But the little bit I've seen of Daniel Jones, bro.
You said bring back Tommy DeVito. What would you say, Brian?
That mess is crazy. Like how bad he actually looks, man. Like man. I don't know. I don't know. I ain't root against you, Danny, but hey.
Danny Dimes, Danny Nickels, Danny Pennies.
That is ridiculous. Danny Wheatpenny. Did you see Tua's comments about Brian Flores?
I did. And, as much as we talked about Brian Flores when he got fired, unceremoniously let go, hearing these comments after all this time, I'm like, oh. And we had heard some things. I think we heard some things about Flores before.
Yeah.
And I feel like what did Flores was doing something. I can't remember what it was. He was doing something to someone, and I can't remember what it was. But I was like, I hope this ain't true. So hearing Tua say that just adds to the fuel in the fire. And it makes me look back at even not even looking at Mike McDaniel and his how good he's been, just looking at Flores because I was like, man, they fired this man. This is crazy. Ain't no reason. You see, that's how they do. That's how they do. They ain't get a black man a chance. They ain't give him a chance. And now like, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not any truth to it. I just think it's just terrible timing, though. Like,
But
you
Tua,
know, yeah, yeah. I just think, do we really need to go that deep into something that's already happened when you got a season right here in front of you? Whereas there's a lot of expectations on you. You got a offense which can be one of the top offenses in the league, which is going to always be when you got a Tyreek anyway, and you got a Waddle. You've got a new weapon. I had to remind somebody the other day talking about, see, they just need that tight end. But they did just go get Jonnu Smith. Like, and he's no slouch. He's more than serviceable tight end. You got that crazy backfield. That I put in the track meet against just about any team. Kansas City, I think, is probably the only team that can probably go leg for leg with them, possibly.
Yeah.
You got too much on the line for a team that a lot of people felt has underachieved, or we know what's going to happen to you when you hit that cold weather, whatever. To just come out this close to the season and just to continue to, to expand on stuff that we had already heard. You know what I'm saying? Your focus need to be moving on and getting through these playoffs and getting to an AFC championship game. Your focus need to be staying healthy, which people question that about you anyway. The focus needs to be convincing your team that you're worth the money that they said they weren't going to spend on you, right? It don't need to be on Brian Flores and giving it this much energy right here at this point.
I thought it was an odd timing. I wasn't mad at it though.
It really hurt his feelings. His feelings are hurt, evidently. Imagine somebody telling you this and you ain't this, you ain't that, and blah, blah, blah. I get it. I ain't saying if Brian Flores is guilty of doing the things that Tua said he did, I'm not saying it was right. I'm just saying it's the wrong time right now, bro. Wrong time. And the second, because I'm telling you, source, the second Tua start messing up or things ain't going right and he ain't playing well, you know the internet, people gonna come for Tua. But was he right? Bro, you're not good enough. You're not this. If Tua gets hurt again, gets knocked out for amount of games or the situation, which we hope don't happen, he was right. You can't even stay on the field. You're not tough. It's just the wrong time, man.
I get it.
So, last thing, man. Last thing. I wanted to ask you about the situation flag football. So we're getting flag football in the Olympics in 2028. And being the flag football guy that you are, you played, you rep the whole 9 yards, way more involved than me. I've only played flag football a handful of times. I never played in really anybody's league, So I wanted to get the 411 from you about, one, are you happy that it's going to be in the Olympics? And two, whether or not NFL players should be the players that we send in the Olympics.
First off, Prime. Yeah, I mean it's cool. It's cool that flag football has been taken more seriously in the last 5 years or so than ever before. As we saw, like people I personally know, people that play in our city, were on ESPN a couple years ago, playing in multiple games in the flag tournament that was held out, I think in Missouri or in Indianapolis. I can't remember where it was, but yeah, the game got taken has kind of grown leaps and bounds, and I appreciate it. And even in that first season that we saw, the team that won the championship of that tournament play against an NFL team or a team of NFL players, former NFL players, the regular guys won, because it's a lot to it. You just look at it like just football. It is, but there's some other things to it as well. Should it be NFL players? It probably will be eventually. I think to start out, I don't think I could see it. Okay, I could see it being NFL players or former NFL players or whatever the case may be, just because we don't want to lose in football. Like if we lose in football, then we don't that don't even look right. How we got the best league by far, and the league that people aspire to, but can't win the flag football
Mhm.
competition. But like I said, this flag is kind of specific in some ways, and having people that have played on a high level of flag specifically might do the trick. Because like I said, that first season, I don't remember what happened second season, but that first season, the regular flag players beat the former NFL team. So, uh, and it's cool. They could have done this 15 years ago, though. I mean, what about me? That's what about me? What about? All right, I wasn't going to the Olympics, but I'm just saying we could have tried.
So yeah, so team the U.S. we had the U.S. national team, the flag football team. Some of the guys had some comments about it, mainly the quarterback. I think it's Daryl Doucette. I think it's Daryl or Jarrell Doucette. He says that he thinks he would be. He don't think like Patrick Mahomes would be better than he was at flag football or in the Olympics because his IQ of flag football, would definitely make him a better player than
Yeah,
Patrick Mahomes in in,
I
in
mean
that particular game.
that's like a crazy comparison. It's like why would you say Patrick Mahomes? Like you could have said a whole lot of different people,
I
but
you know I
Patrick
think it
Mahomes.
may have come from now. To be fair, and I don't know this to be fact, but I think this might have come from when they originally announced that it was going to go down in 2028. A lot of the things I saw on a lot of these people were posting, a lot of these sites actually had Patrick Mahomes on it. I think people
Okay,
just immediately thinking NFL players. So I don't know if somebody asked him that specifically when they started to have the interview, or if it was just everything that was flooding the internet, like on Yahoo and ESPN and some of the other sites when people were posting things.
yeah, because it's one thing to say if you say I'm better than a retired Michael Vick, blah blah blah. But to say Patrick Mahomes is just well, like you said, it's probably from the article, but that's still kind of crazy. Yeah, it's not a good comparison. Not a good comparison to make. I
Because to
can't
me,
see.
physically, IQ wise and physically, when I'm thinking flag football and all that it entails, to me, now I don't know, but to me, Mahomes actually looks like one of the guys that can make it happen.
Yeah,
We want to talk about some other quarterbacks. Okay, maybe not as mobile, maybe not as quick on the. Okay, I might give you that, but Mahomes to me kind of he seemed like a guy I think can make it happen.
yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
What if you had to fight this off top and would leave Mahomes out of it? If you had to pick five guys right now in the NFL that you think would be successful at flag football, highly successful, or we would say we would put them on the Olympic team, what five would you take? So you got to get a different quarterback. We agree on Mahomes.
Tyreek Hill, that's the easy one. I think the receiver position is kind of similar, but if you got wiggle, they like Greg Dortch, I've actually seen Greg Dortch play flag.
Crazy.
It's unfair. It's unfair. So that would be somebody good because you get the ball in his hand and wow, and
Yeah.
all it takes is one man to miss and it's a wrap. And it's not as easy to pull the flag or tackle somebody as you would think by watching. So um, uh, I don't know.
What
I
about
don't
what
know.
about McCaffrey?
Yeah, I'm sure McCaffrey would be good. He got to work. I was trying to think of a younger running back,
Gotcha.
um, but nothing was popping in my brain. Maybe next week I can come up with a better list. But Tyreek Hill and
Oh,
Justin Jefferson, Uh, yeah, like I said, the receivers. If you're a great receiver or a really good receiver, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna be somewhat athletic. And if you athletic freak and got a little wiggle, then that's where all the problems come in.
Got you. Yeah, I probably have some people if I really thought about it, what I think might be good. Probably even some of the lesser known players.
Yeah.
I think they'd be really good on that. But that's interesting. I just thought that was interesting. I wanted to get the perspective from somebody who will know better than me.
Hey man, it's been a minute. It's been not okay. It's been a couple years. It has been a couple years actually. Been a couple years, so I really have to sit down and think about that thing. That's a good question though.
No doubt. And that's all I got for today, man. Like I said, next week, um, yeah, we're gonna get into it, man. We're gonna talk about some teams, stories, expectations of teams, the whole 9 yards. Preferably, definitely your squad, my squad. We might have a couple of guests on, and when we know, and if it's who we normally have on, then there might be some Patriot talk in there, Giant talk. You know, we'll see what goes down with that, and even the Green Bay perspective, because one of our guys, of course, lives in Wisconsin, but he's a Patriot fan, but he always knows what's going on, of course, with the Packers. So we'll see what goes down with that if we get him on. So, but it just feels good for us to finally, you know what I'm saying? They say dip your toe in the water just a little bit. It's just that time. The NFL waters are right here.
Yeah.
And it's just that time, man.
It's about to go down. Man, we only got 11 days. 11 days to the NFL season.
It's going to go down. So we definitely appreciate everybody who checked this out. If you haven't done your drafts yet, if you're in fantasy leagues, do your homework, because if you think this is one of the years going to be like every other year, a lot of things have changed, personnel-wise, coaching scheme-wise. So I encourage you to do that. And I hope nobody who's in our group that's drafting tonight heard me say that. So because the Stakes is High League does draft tonight. So both leagues, we only did the 2 money leagues this year. So I had to break some hearts. So if you got in, you got in. If you didn't, I apologize. More than welcome to start your own league. I don't care if you post it on the page, but but I'm not getting involved in it. Unless you just need somebody to play and you want to lose, then yeah, I do that. But and then of course we will have the free league. Word to my guy Randall. I can't leave him out. Him, Jay, and them. So we're gonna have a free league as well. That'll probably draft a couple of days before the Thursday night game, but we'll figure that out. But yeah, so we appreciate you guys rocking with us. You can find us over on YouTube on SBP TV. You can join us over on Facebook at the SBP. And if you'd like to come on the show at any time to talk and chop up and do a show, hit us up. You can inbox me, you can inbox him, you can inbox, you just put it on the page, tag us in it. We're always looking for anybody that wants to get in and talk sports. So it is what it is. Source, you got anything for the people before we get out?
Hey, if y'all want to do this first game squares thing, let me know. I put it out there yesterday, and it got 20 blocks filled. It was in less than 24 hours. So we'll see if we can make it to 100, because getting to 100 is not easy. But I just thought we could do something for the first game of the season, kind of switch it up a little bit. And of course, I'll put out the week 1 sheet for the pick'em contest, as we do every year. So we'll get back to that one more time and see how that goes as well.
JB, my man, appreciate you checking in for the little bit of time that you did, man. We understand. We appreciate the love. And hey, let me know how that movie is too. Let me know how that movie is. I'm very interested in seeing the movie, but I probably won't go see it. Wait till it hits streaming. But I'm very interested in how the Crow, how the Crow turns out. So let me know, brother. No doubt. All right. And for everybody else, we appreciate y'all. Until the next time, 11 a.m. unless we say different next Sunday. Stay tuned to the page. But we going full bore NFL next week. So Be ready. Yeah.